All right, so right now I get to introduce our speaker of the day, our beloved Hope Johnson. So Hope is a dedicated spiritual guide and mentor committed to fostering enlightenment, attuned to the voice of God. She empowers individuals to recognize their oneness with the Creator and awaken to their true purpose. And she does a really good job of it too, I can tell you. As a compassionate facilitator of spiritual awakening, she points numerous individuals towards self-realization and inner peace. Through weekly in-person and online events, Hope delves into the teachings of A Course in Miracles, meditation, and mindfulness. And one of the things of Hope's greatest joys in life is uplifting, supporting countless souls on their journey towards liberation. So I think if you're not ready yet by hearing that, then let's get on board. Let's welcome up our beautiful Hope Johnson. Please.
Yay! Aloha, everyone. As usual, I don't know what I'm going to say before I come up here. It's a flow, and it's kind of an interaction. You don't have to say anything. So the way I got to the mindset that I appreciate, basically what I know as the Holy Spirit's mindset, is through a series of different spiritual awakenings. They started when I was a young child. I was raised as a Christian missionary, and I was actually on the street handing newsletters to people and letting them know that Jesus loves them, and getting them to pray with me and ask Jesus into their heart. From that, I just learned the power of love. I would be on the street in parking lots, and I'd see people, and the look on their face would just be like a grimace or worry or concern or something like that. And I'd walk up with my literature, and I'd go, "Hi, this is for you. And do you want to hear a song?" And then I just start singing. And notice how for most people, some people want to hold on to it a lot, but for most people, they would immediately feel lighter. So, I noticed that. And through the years, I decided I wasn't really into Christianity anymore, probably about the time I was 18 years old. It was a little bit scary since I was born into a Christian religion. Plus, my mom said something to me. She's watching right now. Aloha, Mama. My mom said something to me. She said, "You better go back to Jesus, otherwise he's going to punish you." Anyways, that was the way I took it. And I was like, "Ooh, that's a little scary, but you know what? I'm going to do it anyways, just to see if he's really going to punish me." And what I learned through that is that he's not punishing at all. I had a relationship with Jesus ever since I was a really young child. And when I said, "I'm going away from all," actually, I said the F word to Jesus. Okay? So after that, I go, well, if he's going to get me, he's definitely going to get me now. Like, he's not going to like that very much. Well, what I came to recognize, and it took me probably about a good 14 or 15 years, apparently, what I came to recognize was that, it was every problem that I was having in my life, every seeming problem that I was having in my life, I was making that seeming problem. It became very clear to me that I was making that seeming problem. So I started to up my communication with Jesus again. I said, "Hey, help me see through this. It seems like this is scary, and this is scary, and I'm worried about this, and I'm concerned about my body and what my husband's doing and all this different stuff." And so I started to hear in the Spirit again, like I did when I was a child, and start to feel that sense of ease as all of life just seems to be playing around me. Start to really sense that ease. And at the same time, I had wound myself up pretty good, come to find out by believing that this world that I'm perceiving has an objective reality. That's really how I wound myself up so good. Because I was perceiving, and I thought that what I was perceiving was actually there. I believed that it came from outside of myself and was not projected from my own mind. And I noticed that that was all that was causing all of the discontent in my mind. And I was projecting it onto everyone. I had to make problems with my husband all the time. Oh, he loved it. He loved it. I'd always make problems. He was always doing something wrong in my view. And my husband is such a sweetie. I've been with him like 29 years. And, you know, in my view, he was always not quite good enough. Like just almost, but not quite. So, you know, he would take that cue and be like, how can I, you know, do better? And so I spent about 10, 12, I don't know, 15 years changing him a bunch. I'd go, oh, you can act like this. You can act like this for me, and you can act like this for me. And he'd be like, okay. Like he apparently felt like he really wanted to be with me. He'd just do it differently if I asked him to, or at least give it a try. And at some point, it occurred to me, I don't want him to change at all. Yeah. I could play this, I could keep on playing this game, or I could look at that upset feeling that's arising in me, making it seem as if my husband isn't good enough. So then the thought occurs to me, well, how will you know if you're supposed to leave him? What if you're supposed to leave him? What if that's in your divine purpose to get away from him? What if he's bringing you down? And you know, it was just so clear that any movement that I need to make, even if it's leaving a relationship, that's not even up to me. That's a play. That's coming through. I don't have to entertain anything about what I'm going to do. I don't have to have any concern over what I'm going to do, because there's only the present moment. And in the present moment, it's actually playing out from past thoughts. So it's only occurring to me in a dream. And that just gave me so much peace and relaxation. Now there's not anything for me to do about this. So it occurs to me that one of the themes today is self-care. So that's, you know, for me, that's self-care. That's taking care of the spirit that's expressing through me. That's taking care of that. Because as I would take care of that, and that's basically acknowledging what the truth is in the moment. You know, the truth is that I have no burdens. I'm not in this world. In fact, the world is projected from me, and I seem to be in it. So that very fact alone takes all the pressure off of any decisions I gotta make, except for really one decision over and over again. Whether I'm gonna make this thing into reality, or I'm going to stay centered in what's actually true, the reality that can't be seen through the body sense, right? The body sense is delivering me all kinds of information, bringing me all kinds of, giving me all kinds of thoughts, perceptions, views on things, opinions. Those aren't even mine. That's why I don't have to have any kind of arguments with anyone, because the opinions are just occurring to me. They're not mine. I don't need to defend them. You know, I put an opinion out there and someone's like, what? I disagree. Okay. Right. And you know, even the person's interpretation of me is coming from me. That is really such an interesting thing. From their perspective, they're having an interpretation of me, but because I'm interpreting their perception of me, there's not anything for me to do about that. There's not anyone that I need to try to change their perception or make it better even. Or if they're holding a perception of me and it seems like it's against me, or they got the wrong facts or something like that, it's not for me to do anything about that. If anything needs to come forth, it will. It'll just speak through me. So, let's see. So then things get happy around the house, at least happier, you know. Uh, so I moved here to Hawaii in 2010. It was really difficult, and this is after I'm talking about all of these realizations that I've come to. I'm like feeling pretty good. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm moving to Hawaii. I'm probably going to be a spiritual teacher over there or something. And then it hits. It's like boom, this total dread. It was so interesting. It was like I feel like I don't belong here. I need to get out of here. Not the island, but like as a family person, in my roles, all my different things, everything started to be challenged. So I went through it in a big way, and I cried a lot. And it's so funny because I haven't shed one tear that wasn't a joyful tear now since 2019. But at that part, yeah, interesting, right? But at that period, I cried a lot and cried loudly too. Till at one point, my husband said, I'm really scared. I don't think I know you. Because I was just like, that wasn't my normal way of being, but I just cried a lot. And I said, honey, I just had like a moment where I just, came clear. I said, honey, I trust this process. Do you trust this process? And he said, yes, and he just went to bed. It was the middle of the night, and I was screaming. Go ahead, keep on doing that stuff. So anyways, I was referred to Vipassana, which is a 10-day meditation. And by that time, I had discovered A Course in Miracles. It had been sitting on my shelf for years. I hadn't opened it up. It looked like the Bible to me, and that didn't look appealing by the looks of it. So I didn't open it up. But one day, I opened it up, and I read one sentence, and I'm like, what? And then I read a little bit more, and immediately the sense of relief that came over me was, thank goodness I don't have to bring all this information to the world. It's already right here. I'm like, that's like exactly what I would say. Some people ask me, do you read A Course in Miracles? I'm like, I wrote that thing. Even though it seems to have been published around the same year I was born, in the apparent world, I wrote that thing. You know, I could just feel that. It's like that's like speaking my heart. So, anyways, I was on about day 40 when I felt really called. It was almost like I was getting married. It was almost like it felt romantic on one level that I was going to this Vipassana, you know, to go sit in silence for 10 days. For 10 hours a day. And it was grueling. It was. You have to sit for 10 hours a day. Now that gets a little uncomfortable no matter what position you're sitting in. If you're sitting and you're asked to sit still. So it got really hard. The knees, the back, everything got really intense. So I found myself meditating bent over like this and just, okay, I can persevere, I can get through this, you know, I can get through these 10 days. And then I heard on one of the discourses at day 4 about how the Buddha just sat under that tree and he didn't move, and he didn't even care if his bones went into the ground. That was the story that I heard. Anyways, I heard that story and I was like, if the Buddha can do it, I can do it. We're no different. So I sat from that moment on still. I sat still without moving and straight, with a straight, erect spine, and noticing how the pain was just automatically alleviated with the upliftment, with that uplifting thought. That's a very uplifting thought. Look at that. That thought. If the Buddha can do it, I can do it. Right? Oh, we're all the same. If Jesus can do it, I can do it. Right? That's a very uplifting thought. And you know what? The thing about it is, it's the truth, too. It's the truth. We've put all these limitations on ourselves. So the next thing you know, I'm sitting down for Vipassana, and a tear comes down. And I just start crying, not loudly. This is a meditation tent with about 100 people in it. And they're pretty clear that if you're going to be disrupting people, you're out of there, and you're not going to be able to stay and meditate. So I just let the tears keep on falling. They kept on falling. I did not see the root of the tears or anything. I just felt an intense sadness. There's this intense sadness. So I went through, I kept on sitting through it. This happened relatively early in the day, so I had the whole day meditating while crying. By the end of that day, I went back to my slat of wood that you sleep on. And I'm laying on the slat of wood, and I'm just feeling this intense sadness. And eventually, it was the middle of the night, a little child voice said, "Mommy, how could you do that to me?" Right? And it was so sad. It was like this little child, little tiny child. And you know, it's like I got evidence in my mind to back it up that that's a true thought. Because there are memories in my mind about things that my mom should have done different. Okay? So I had all memories to back it up. But in that moment, I go, holy crap, there's the ego. It's a good question. Now, from this perspective, it's a good question. How could your mom do that to you? She can't. She can't do anything. No one can do anything to us. We're having a dream, and it's based on a misconception about who we are. We thought we're something different. We thought there's an objective reality. We thought that there could be people in our field of experience that are doing something against our will. Right? Oh my goodness, you guys. When I recognized that, there was such an explosion of joy in my mind. I felt like I could run down to Pohoiki. I was on Pohoiki Road. I felt like I could run, but no way would I, because I didn't want to get kicked out. I wanted to stay for the rest of the meditation. But what that revealed to me right there was the power of the mind. I'll tell you what, there was some deep suffering going on. Something was brought up to the surface that had been practiced over and over and over again. That voice that I finally heard had been hiding. I buried it. I didn't want to know about it. I just wanted it to run my life from buried down there. And once it came up and revealed itself to me, it's like, oh, no one can do anything to me. I am making that up right now. There's only this moment. So that set me completely free in that moment. Once I returned from Vipassana, my mom and I had a beautiful relationship, never to even have a rift again. See? So knowing the power of the mind is what I have to share with you. And I know one thing too. I cannot share anything with you that I haven't received for myself, something that I haven't accepted for myself. So that's why all the words, all of this, it's meaningless. You're making an interpretation of what I say. But what I share with you is something that I have received, and that's peace and grace in the moment. No matter what seems to be occurring, that's yours. No, that's yours. You have that if you want it. It is always a choice. It's a choice between peace or making chaos into a reality. That goes for all things, pain. Someone asked me the other day, how do I get rid of this pain? Well, that's kind of the wrong question, just because you're coming from a mindset that the pain is actually there. Okay, it's being projected right now from your mind. He asked, what does it help me to know that it's an illusion being projected from my mind? How does that help me get out of the pain? Well, it helps you because then you're not pursuing thoughts about that pain being justified, as in having a cause in the world. Okay? It's not age. It's not something that happened to you before. Even if you think it happened 5 minutes ago and you have evidence of it, it doesn't matter. The mind is so powerful to make illusions that a change can occur instantly. And you know, that's not even the miracle. The miracle is when you establish in your mind that you're dreaming a dream and it actually has no reality other than what you make it. That's where the miracle actually is. The effects of that, the apparent healing and all that, those come after. But first, it's, I dream this dream, and none of my thoughts are true. And I'm not used to this. How much time do I have? Any? We'll wrap it up? Okay. Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today. Thank you so much. I know I've got a lot to share with you, and maybe I'll be invited back here. Yay! Thank you. Thank you. I also speak for 2 hours twice a week, once online, once in person. In person, I'm at Kalani right now, 3 to 5 p.m. on Fridays, or you can come and join me. It's always free. Also online, Mondays, if you go to hopejohnson.org to the Wisdom Dialogues tab, you can sign up, you can join me on Zoom. It's really fun. And lastly, I have an essential oil business called Miracle Botanicals. It's essential oils infused with love. And a lot of people tell me that it's just like hearing me speak, only without the words. So aloha, everyone. I love you.
Thank you. Absolutely.